What's my phone?
You live?
What's up? It's your girl, Catherine Yancey. We're here on Disco 100 Radio, K.D.Y Live. If you have not already, if you have not already subscribed, subscribe. Could you please plug my headset back up, please? Thank you. Today I'm talking with Disco 100, who actually engineers here, and this is his podcast house. If you're looking to start a podcast, this is where you should come. Disco 100 Radio. So again, subscribe on YouTube, and you can catch my show weekly, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Disco 100 Radio. Now, for the last few weeks, we've been talking about getting and staying married off and on. You know, we sprinkle in, I'm sorry that happened to you occasionally, which is the other subject I've been talking on recently. What's up, Disco? How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I do great. Thank you for joining me today.
No
really
problem.
Appreciate it.
It's my honor, you know.
It's your honor.
It's my honor.
It's my honor.
All right, cool.
All right. So you have shared previously that you've been married for how many years?
17.
17 years. So you got some time in on this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a straight. Yeah. Sure do.
Yeah.
All right. So you got some time. If you can do it all over again, would you do it the same way?
As far as what? The timetable of getting married?
Yes,
okay.
The timetable of when you met the person, got married. Would you do it exactly the same way?
Yeah, the timetable was fine.
What was the timetable?
2.5 years.
Okay, so you took your time.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you all meet?
It's funny.
Okay.
It's real funny, actually.
Humor me.
No, it's hilarious. My first wife, we lived in Miami.
Okay.
And I had my first wife had a cousin that lived in Atlanta at the time. Mm-hmm. So he had made a phone call that the Super Bowl was in Miami.
Okay, I remember that.
And he had his baby mama and her friends wanted to come to Miami.
Okay.
Well, at that time, me and my first wife was having our differences.
Okay.
But he called me because he wanted me to give him tickets to one of my family members who was a artist concert. Mm-hmm. So I made the phone call, got the tickets. Make a long story short, I went to my wife at that time's grandmother's house. When I walked in the door, it was 4 ladies sitting on the couch. They was the women from Atlanta. Okay. And all I did was say, "Hey, how y'all doing? Y'all have a great time," and that was it. Okay. So that particular night, they did what they did. Me and my ex-wife, we still couldn't get our stuff together. Okay. I said, let me go to Atlanta and just try to, get away a little bit, get my mind clear. I had cousins up here. Okay. So I ended up liking Atlanta the first week I was here. Then I decided I coach football. Okay. So I Googled Marietta football teams, and it took me to a park called Marietta Blue Eagles. Mm-hmm. And I was out there for like a month when a young lady walked up to me. She said, "Ain't you so-and-so's husband?" And I'm like,
this is the ex.
That's
at the time. Were you all divorced at the time?
Yeah, no, I was still legally married.
You were still legally married, so she's referring to the first wife that you were still married to.
But I'm up here in Georgia.
But you're separated.
Yeah, well,
okay. Yeah. Living in Georgia, she's in Miami.
Correct.
Okay.
So not knowing we want to do what we want to do yet.
Right, figuring. Mm-hmm.
So she said, "Aren't you such and such husband?" I like how you know me?
Right.
Like I'm
because you're in a whole another state.
No, another state.
Yeah.
Well, come to find out, she was one of the women on the couch. That came down to visit. So I didn't think of it. At that time, she had a boyfriend, whatever it may be. Okay. So maybe 3 months later, me and my ex-wife at that time couldn't make it work. Okay. We got divorced. Okay. I ended up coaching the lady that asked me kids that were 9 and 10. The one that asked me.
Oh, the one who asked you if you were your ex-wife now. Her husband. She had kids on the team that you were coaching. Correct. And they were 9 and 10 at the time.
Correct. Okay. So I started coaching them, and she ended up breaking up with her particular boyfriend, and I end up, seeing all the time, and I approached her, and that's my wife now. Okay.
I'm glad that you said that you approached her. How do you feel about what's going on now as far as the women approaching the men? Some men say that they are open to the woman making the dominant move, and some say that, it makes me feel less of a man if you're trying to take my position and make the first move or dominant move. I believe that you should wink and smile and stuff, but what do you think?
I think it's to each his own. Okay. The traditional stuff don't happen no more, period. Okay. That's over with. We're in 2021. Mm-hmm. You got more women down on their knees looking for a husband. You got women buying husbands.
You are absolutely right. Now, I would like to say that traditional still works for me. Mm-hmm. So if you're out there, please don't come with the 2021. That does not work at all for me. the traditional works for me. But I do know a guy who has been married, I want to say at least 2 times, and he's been proposed to both of those times. So what you're saying is absolutely true. There is some kind of, I guess it would look like role reversal in this day and age, and some people are okay with that.
I don't think it's intent. I think sometimes women may think that the guy is afraid to do it, but they really want to do it, so they're taking the initiative to do it. Okay. Or at the same time, women are getting to the point where they ain't got no more. They tired of waiting. They tired of waiting. Like,
they like, what you doing? Yeah. This what we doing or not what we doing? So put it on the table. Either you can say yes or no. They're really praying for the yes, I'm sure. Yep. But yeah. Okay. So you asked her out. Mm-hmm. How did you ask her out?
Well, actually, it was funny because it wasn't me. It was my homeboy that wanted me to pass his number to her. Okay. So when I got to the car, I said, my homeboy kind of shy, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then she was like, I don't, what about you? I ain't thinking about him right now. What about you? That's how I started.
Wait. Yeah. So homeboy was trying to get out of
my homeboy sent me to the car to say, look, hey, Disco, man, tell blah, blah, blah.
Right. So homeboy sent you in as the wingman.
Correct.
And you done became captain.
Because yeah.
So, okay. So, if you don't take anything else from these guys, do your own dirty work. Yep. And that's your good work, not the dirty work, but do your own work.
So we went out again.
So, how did your homeboy respond, though?
I mean, we both was, we was young. They're like, no, Disco, you do it like that. I said, bruh, because we thought she was, she bad. She the bad thing at the park. So we like, hey, that's on you, dog. You should have went over there. Because I tried to give you a number. She ain't wanted, she wanted mine. So,
Right.
It is what it is. I mean, till the day we crack jokes with each side. I took his wife, so it's funny now.
Yeah. That is hilarious. Yeah. Okay, so what does a first date look like? Well, how did you ask her and how did she respond?
It shocked me first of all, because I didn't have my stuff together.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Like I was just moving up here. I was living from unhouse to unhouse. Mm-hmm. I had no car. Okay. I was bouncing back, and I was like, you know what? I ain't got a chance in ATL. Yeah.
Okay. And we're going to speak on that bounce back later because a lot of times, people are starting over for different reasons in life. And sometimes we have to not be as judgmental as we tend to be if that person isn't just a, lazy sloth-like person. Some people just go through hard times sometimes and have to do that transitional process to get themselves back together. And usually the get back together makes them better and stronger than they were before anyway. But anyhow, you go and ask her for your date. And she responds, you say it's funny. So what's funny?
No, I didn't think she was going to say yeah. Like, I didn't think she was going to give me a number. Because she was very quiet, very to herself. Okay. She was about just being a mom,
Was she married prior?
No, she never been married. Never been married.
Okay. So, where do you all go for a first date?
Well, back then it was a place called K.D.Y House on Delk Road. Okay. So I took her there. Well, she took me there because, again, I didn't have no car. So she took me there. In the vehicle. Yeah. So, and it's funny because I almost lost her that night because I was coaching football at the time and my phone kept ringing. And I'm at the first date, just answering my phone, going to the bathroom, talking, coming back. So
it was a little rude for her.
Yeah, it was a little rude. So I actually almost lost her, but I didn't.
And how did she respond though? Because there are people who deal with this today with the phone issue.
She didn't say anything. We discovered that. Being funny at home one day,
later on,
she made a joke like you almost, that phone almost got you. You know what I'm saying?
So pay attention if you're dating out here. The phone can get you. Yeah. It can get you eliminated.
Yeah, it almost did.
Because nobody's going to compete with the phone. Well, some people won't compete with the phone.
Well, the key thing is, fellas, you got to answer the phone in front of her.
Exactly.
So if she hear your conversation. Exactly. That's the thing.
Exactly. So if you don't have anything to hide, then that means we trust you when you're not around us as well. And especially if you're doing something like what you're doing, coaching, you're dealing with a lot of single mothers. You're dealing with a lot of people in general. So you have to do that interaction.
Correct.
But how you do that interaction is important to how you maintain your family as well. So you shouldn't be sacrificing for everybody else's family and all the kids at the park if you giving up your own family to do it. So a lot of people say I'm doing good things and you should understand, want the house to understand, but don't want to make the general population understand that they have to respect the house.
Well, it's a balance. What I do with mine is for me DJing, to me coaching, to me just running a promotion team. What I do is I tell people quick, when I make plans for my months ahead of time, that's where it stop at. So if I tell you I'm doing this date, that date, this date. That's all I'm doing because now I'm making plans to spend time with my family outside of that. So it can't be a last minute phone call at a certain time. Don't call my phone.
So they know their priority.
Correct. Don't call my phone at a certain time. You know, if you can't talk to me between this time and that time.
Right. Business hours, please respect the house.
So what I do now is whenever I'm with my wife and kids, I cut my phone on vibrate. I don't care what time of day it is. I cut it off. So whatever was calling, I get back to them when I get my own time or go to the store or something, whatever it may be, by myself.
That was a lot of wisdom in just that part alone.
Okay, cool.
So you all decided that you were going out. When did you know that she was the one?
Well, I tell her this all the time. Like, if somebody can, love you or give you the respect when you down, like when you down.
Down. Like no car down,
like
no
this woman,
down.
like matter of fact, I even lost my license. And she helped me get my license back. You know what I'm saying? Like she really helped me. I mean, I wasn't a bad guy, terrible guy, but she had me when I had nothing.
Yeah, you were out of order just a little bit.
And one thing I loved about her that got me, it was the look, but it also was I seen the mother. I seen a woman going to 2 different parks at one time. I seen a woman getting the kids at practice on time. I seen a woman, you know what I'm saying? She was
making it happen.
So and I looked to that. That was a challenge, but I wasn't scared of it. Now, don't get me wrong, that raising kids is something, but it's something. Yeah. But that's the only thing I thought I would have did was got to know the kids a little more probably before I decided to be that father role. Because I think my approach was wrong at first.
What was it?
I'm very aggressive.
Okay.
So I didn't put myself on a normal 9 or 10-year-old age mindset. Like, okay, this dude coming.
Did you have children yourself?
Yeah, I got 2 boys. I got
prior to getting involved with her children. How old were your children at the time?
They were 5 and 3.
So they were at different stages than her children were. So you didn't really have experience with that age of a child before then.
Nah.
Okay, so tell us again what you would have done differently. You were more aggressive.
I think I would have took it as not trying to be the captain of the ship that quick. Like, I had to put myself in a young man's mindset, like, this is my mama.
Exactly.
And with whoever's their dad was one around, and who was a dude gonna come tell me what I can't and can't do.
Right.
And at the time, I didn't have nothing. So I'm thinking, okay, this dude ain't gonna respect me. Well, I ain't got nothing. He probably thinking, okay, this dude ain't got a car. This dude ain't got this. But he trying to tell me what I should be and what I shouldn't be. So again, to this day, we all know, because I love all my boys. They love me. They know what I was trying to do, put like that. But I had to work on my approach with not just them, with people, because I'm very aggressive. So I learned a lot. Marriage can teach you as well.
So what is your relationship like with the children now?
Oh, they love me. All of them call me Pops. I mean, my boys get along. And I don't do step. When people say you got boys,
of course not from me.
No. When people say the kids, you got DISCO, I say 6. My boys get along. They talk every day.
Exactly.
They call me Pops, Dad. I mean,
What do you think as far as advice to those who are dating people who are going to be in an intermingled family, as far as treating one set differently than you treat your own?
And see, that's a common mistake, but it's natural. Like, it's something that you try not to do, but it's naturally done, because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, it all comes from knowing how both of y'all was raised. That's the biggest issue. The biggest issue with dealing with other people, kids, is knowing how you was raised as a child versus theirs, because if it don't entwine, that's the biggest problem.
Right. So I personally, if I date someone who has kids, I'm going to treat them like my own child. Instinctively, I can't do anything but that.
Yeah.
However, I have run into situations where somebody wants to pull rank with the children when it's convenient. And this is my child. I do this for these children. When you are indeed helping them any other time when they're not emotionally enraged for whatever reason, that ain't got nothing to do with the kids, but they use the children as pawns in the relationship. Have you had any issues with that? Or any advice for that?
As far as the stepdad coming in?
Or the mother. The mother could like, these my kids, you want me disciplining my children.
Well, that's usually what happens, because you got to get her trust first.
Absolutely.
You got to show her you the man first. You got to show her that you going to work. You got to show you paying the bills. You got to show her that you are not just for the piece of the meat and going about your business. So once you can show her that you are what they need to follow, she'll sit back and watch you. But at the end of the day, You got to do your homework and know that you both got the same upbringing, morals and rules. That's where the problem comes, because your child walking out not saying nothing. Well, how I was raised ain't what it's supposed to be.
Good morning.
So if you keep, right. if you got to find out what they consider disrespectful, and because that's how you start bumping heads. And that's usually what happens.
It starts with the adults first, is what you're saying.
Correct.
So when the adults get on the same page, same team, then that's when we can effectively raise children in a positive environment.
And then they got to know it can't be the good cop, bad cop. They got to know, like, for instance, not to take it off married, but like when I was.
Oh, no, this has to do with marriage.
No, my next comment I'm saying is that, like, when I was growing up, I had 6, 7 aunties, mom, grandma. But even if my aunties weren't in the same room, my mom, I knew if one said no, I couldn't go down the street and ask her. So once a kid know that he can go here and here,
manipulate,
that's the issue.
Exactly. I've had that issue. Yeah. So it's definitely something that can be avoided if the adults are on the same page first, as Correct. You're saying. But like you said, that boils down to your background. So it's really important to get to know who you're married to or dating or intending to marry before you get in a legal binding situation, which is what marriage is. So what are the surprises that you got when you were married that you didn't foresee coming?
How different we was. Like, just the upbringing. Like, we both got morals, but we, like, I'm a check in. My mom, I was my mama only son, my only child.
So she want to know where you at.
So I was a check in. So my mindset, and that's who I am as a person. Like, even marriage, she don't require that, but I still do it as a grown man. Babe, I'm still here. Babe, I'm still here. She be like, okay. You gonna call me to get you the traffic light? Like, you gonna call me to get down the street?
Well, most women would really appreciate that. Yeah. I was talking to somebody recently, and recent means really recent, and that was a big issue. That the guy was just leaving, husband, not even guy, husband was just leaving and going wherever he wanted to go, doing whatever he wanted to do without communicating what he was doing, who he was doing it with, and just coming back whenever he wanted to. And it felt like it was a little disrespectful to the relationship. So I understand that there is a balance, not feeling like you somebody's child and having to check in, and the balance or respect level to just, I don't want you to feel uncomfortable about anything I'm doing. I'm taking away the barrier that would cause us to have an issue.
See, and you said something. See, now, see, when I call, it's not to get permission.
Exactly.
It's not calling to say, can I? What it is letting you know, I left the studio at 12. I'm finna head by my boy, West House, chill for a minute, then
and
I'll be home.
And you said a name, because a lot of times people will just say, I'm gonna go by my boy house. Or like, if I say something and ask a question, I'm like, whose house?
Yeah.
If you say my boy house, I got a problem with my boy, because my boy is not a who.
Correct.
So go ahead.
But again, like, it's not required. Like, I can, it's not like I'm gonna go.
But it's just because you want to be on
that's just how I'm raised.
Same page.
That's how, like, if I, like right now, if you my wife and I go, I say, Kat, I'm going to the store to get some milk.
And that's simple.
And if I get there and it's 20 people in line, I'm just naturally.
I'm still there to start a lot of folk in line.
That's me. That's me. Sometimes I do the FaceTime. Like, look, just
right. But that just takes away any insecurity, and it just bonds your relationship even more from the fact that you're a busy guy. You do about 10 things.
Yep.
She doesn't worry about any of the 10 things you do because you don't give her a reason to, which makes it easier for you to function in that capacity. Because if you have to worry about somebody getting upset with you every time you walk in the house, which is probably what happens to people who aren't forthcoming with information, and they probably could be doing absolutely nothing.
And it was so crazy. I tell everybody, man, I got 2 phones. 17 years, my wife can't call neither one of them phones and I get an answer.
You picking up the phone for
she
your
know
wife.
That. So that's why she don't really, I think that's why she really don't care about me calling.
Because you make a priority.
Because she knows if she call, I'm going to answer. So it's like, I don't do that. You know.
And was there, like, in your earlier years, what age were you when you got married?
The first marriage, I would think I was 23.
Okay. And what made you feel, how old was your wife then when you got married?
She was 22.
What made you feel like you were ready for marriage the first
time? I wasn't ready. I was raised for it. Meaning my grandma put in us, if she good enough to have your baby, she good enough to be your wife. And that's what made me marry. I'm not going to say I didn't love her.
Yeah.
But I wasn't ready to be married. I was 23 years old. We had a good time and had a child. But I knew what was installed in me from my family. So that's what I did.
And it's funny that you said that. Of course, I have a daughter who is pregnant now, who is unmarried, and I took her, or she came to visit with a couple of my aunts. I stayed with a couple of my aunts, and she came to visit. And the first thing they were like, she and her boyfriend came to visit. They were like, "When is the wedding?" I was like, "They're not getting married until God tells them that they're supposed to be married. Correct. Like, you don't have a say in their personal relationship just because she's pregnant." You know, so I'm sure that they call those shotgun weddings back then. I was like, "There's no shotgun now. Like, nobody's doing that just because to save face."
Yeah, we went to the courthouse and had a reception. We didn't do nothing big.
Yeah.
But that's why. I mean, like I say, I'm not saying I didn't. I don't disrespect her. I mean.
Oh no, this is nothing.
No, I'm saying I'm not disrespect. I did. I did have feelings for her. I did marry for her.
Absolutely, but you just at that age weren't ready to be married. So how long did you stay married the first time? How many years?
Oh man, I think it was legally. It was like 8 years legally. I was in the military for somewhat before I got in a little trouble.
Okay.
But I think legally it was like 7 to 8 years.
Okay, so enough to grow up.
Yeah.
And how old were you when you got married the second time?
So what? I told you 38.
Okay, so 38 the second
time.
No,
28.
20.
Somewhere like that. 29,
not
30.
Not too long after
you
had gotten divorced.
It was like 2 years after that. Yeah.
So close to 30.
Correct.
And how old was she when you got married the second time?
She was a year younger than me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So around the
No, actually, I'm sorry. Damn, you're older than me.
Okay.
She went older than me.
Around the same age.
Correct.
Okay. So, what did you notice was different in you the second time around as opposed to the first time around?
I knew what marriage was. I knew the challenge that I was getting ready to face. Only thing I did regret was that I was not a distant father. I tell anybody that kicked me in my butt every day. I apologize to my two sons' mommy every day. They tell me, "Daddy, stop." I was a financial father. I was a check-in father. I was a holiday father. I wasn't an everyday dad. So it kicked me in my butt every day till this day that I was that. The kids I took in, I was that every day.
Right.
So I was always worried about the relationship they had with each other, but they love each other to death. So.
Did you come from a 2-parent household?
I came from a real quick. How can I say without getting emotional about it? I came from a blessing. Let's put it like that. The sperm donor who made me didn't want no parts of me.
Okay.
But I picked up 7 great uncles, granddaddies, aunties because of his absence. I picked up another dad that I called my father because of his absence. So no. As far as being
2 parents,
but I came from 1 parent to 12.
And I'm glad that you said that because that mentoring piece for men especially is missing today. Of course, we have a lot of single mother households, and it's designed systematically for that to happen, especially in the Black community. But there is that important factor where we don't have to be a product of the community. If it takes a village to raise a child, it's still applied. So we do have to step in and fill in the gaps. And I believe possibly that's why you do so much to help children. You do a lot of work with children as far as your sports and mentoring and things of that nature. So men in general, help these ladies out with these boys. I know that, and you're doing an excellent job, ladies, but there are some things that a young boy can only get from a man.
Correct. I call these kids nowadays hub sons.
Yep, absolutely. And unfortunately, they are being groomed to be codependent on women because the woman doesn't want to be alone. In a lot of instances, I'm sure there's an exception to that, but a lot of instances that is the case. They're grooming these children to be their boyfriend's sons, and so they take care of mama first. So when it's time for them to be in a relationship, especially a marriage, the marriage can't come first because mama's first. Instead of grooming them to be able to go off and, develop.
I see it happen all the time.
Yes, unfortunate. Okay, so in the second relationship, you're ready for the challenges of marriage. What did you know that those challenges were going to be going in? Being
another dad to some kids that are not biologically mine. That was the biggest challenge. Coming from 2 different families, upbringing, like I say, not saying they're terrible, but I'm an affectionate person. I'm a hugger. I'm a kisser. I love you. That's me.
You say I love you on Facebook almost every day.
Because I do. I love people. I mean, I go off on you at the same time, but that don't mean I don't love you.
Right, exactly. You know? But I say that to say a lot of men have problems showing emotion and showing affection, and you don't appear to be one of those types, and you don't think that it makes you less of a man to show that side, which is, I think, an issue with a lot of men where they're groomed to only show the strong side and be emotionless.
You know why? Because I know who I am. Like, I know, like my wife tells me I got to on and off switch. She know I can be this person when I got to be this person.
Yes. And
she know I can be that person when I got to be this person.
Which means you can push your foot down and handle your business and, you know.
So I have no problem, and I do love my fellas, man. I send out mass texts in the mornings to all my partners, say, I love you, bro. Hit me up when you get a chance. And they know they get them from me all the time.
There's a lot of people who don't hear I love you on a regular basis, who didn't hear it growing up, and they have a lot of problems transferring love or the feeling of love or just verbalizing love to those who they really do love. And it goes on to be a generational situation where the generation under them does not know how to express love. And that has to change because all things work together when love is involved. And if we operate in truth and love, nothing but positive stuff can come from that.
Correct.
But because we can't be as expressive in love, men mostly, women are probably overly expressive too soon.
No.
Some of them are.
No.
Some of them are. But there's always an exception. I'm never speaking.
It's something that just don't, even the ones like you can say good morning to, is like they just, like, how dare you say good morning to me? Like, who are you to say good morning?
We talk about that often. Yeah. I talk about that with men often. They feel like that's part of the reason they don't want to approach women, because I asked that question about the approach, and they're like, we don't want the rejection. You know, we're just trying to say hello and open the door, and you snooty. And we don't want that.
That's how I was raised that way. Like, my wife, she knows if we go somewhere and me and her, and the lady in front of me, I'm open the door for both of them. Right. Like, she not gonna get pissed off.
No.
If I hold the door for a lady as well with her, because that's how I am. That's who I am.
You're a gentleman. Yeah. You're groomed that way.
Correct.
Okay. So, how do you handle disputes? You have opposing positions in a marriage.
Now, today.
Well, tell me about how you did it prior first.
Prior, I did it all the way wrong.
What is that?
I wanted to win every battle. I wanted to win every discussion.
So what did you do?
I wanted to pinpoint everything I had a problem with. When I, end of the day, it caused more issues. Like, if I'd have just left it alone, it wouldn't have caused A through Z. So now what I do is, if it's not going to hinder my family, if it's not going to hinder my well-being, if it's something I can overlook and let them have that particular, I leave it alone.
Okay.
Because I'm getting too old for that.
Right. I learned in older age, because I was exactly the same, where, especially if I felt like I knew I was right, you know, well, I can tell you from A to Z what I'm talking about, and we can support it with the evidence of the situation. So, like, I'm right, and we need to acknowledge that, basically. Right? And not necessarily that was the intention, but I'm sure it probably came across in that way. But as I've gotten older, I've learned to be more prayerful first, and most things resolve themselves without me even doing anything. So you don't have to go and address every little situation and prove that you're right and prove that they're wrong and all of those type things. Go ahead.
The only sad part about it is, as a man, I'm going to speak for a lot of guys I know. As a man, it's hard when you know the direction that young man going to go. And the more you try to keep them right, the more arguments you have to deal with. But in your heart and your soul, you like, I got to put my foot down because I know what's going to happen next. And the hardest part is letting go.
And are you talking about rearing children?
I'm talking about just men teaching kids, boys how to be men. And you got to get the backlash of everybody else because you're trying to direct them in the right way. Right. When you know what's getting ready to happen because you've been out there.
In that
so the hardest part for a real genuine man is to say no. But then you get caught stressing yourself so much that now you start getting sick. Now you start not sleeping. Now you start slacking up your work on something that's not going to change. So when you put your hands up, that's the hardest thing for a real man to do when it comes to boys.
I can relate to that somewhat as a mother. And I had to put my hands up and literally just turn my child over to God. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to let you stress me out and drive me crazy and make me old. All of those things that you said, I literally said. And I'm going to let you do whatever you feel you have to do. You know, I'm always here for you when you return to being sensible. But until then, I understand you must be your own person and you got to do what you got to do and let them go. And I literally just prayed that my child didn't do anything that she couldn't come back from.
Gotcha.
Like, you're going to do what you're going to do, obviously, because this is why we keep butting heads. And I did what I was going to do. I did a whole lot of what I was going to do.
Correct.
So you have to really, from a parent's perspective, just remember when you were a child, first off. And then it's different when you are the parent, though. But then know that people have to walk their own path. It has nothing to do with you a lot of times. Go ahead.
So I agree and I disagree with that comment because I hear a lot from, like I said, barbershop talking fellas. A lot of people say that, like, chill out, you done that before. But that's the point. That's why I'm not chilling out. Because I know what it caused.
No. Exactly. Yeah. I agree with what you're saying wholeheartedly. Not that they get a pass because you did it. Okay. You don't get a pass. Right. I'm telling you because I know.
I got you. The book is typical. The book we trying to show them we already read. They don't understand it.
But the same thing happened with our parents.
Correct.
They were trying to tell us
same thing
because they already walked in those shoes, been down that mile. But we have to live and learn sometimes for ourselves. So when you get to the point where you are understanding, there's no more talking you can do to make this situation not be what it is.
Correct. See, like with my boys, I try to keep up with the lingo. I try to.
Oh yeah, they keep you young.
Like my son, an outfit that he designed, and I put it on. I like, man, I ain't wearing these tight joggers. He's like, Dad, come on, Dad. I'm not wearing these tight jogger pants. He's like, Dad, you got it, man. You getting? I like, your daddy is 45 years old, man. I'm not wearing these skis. So I try to stay with the talk, the lingo, what's up, baby boy. I do all that kind of stuff.
Right.
You know,
they keep you young too. They keep you young.
Yeah.
I would definitely be out the loop if I didn't have a child.
Yeah. They keep me young. Yeah. Trust me.
Okay, so how does that work out in a marriage when you have a child that's causing an issue in the house, and as parents,
it should. That's the thing. It shouldn't, because a child is that. A child is that.
Speak on it now, because a lot of people don't put the children in their place in the house.
And I don't have a perfect household. I'm just saying a child is a child. People got to understand that's what the word is, child. So a child should have no kind of dictation of what going in your house, whether it be your child or not your child. If that child is a child, that's how you need to be treated. So when you start letting the child be part of the parent decisions, that's when the problem started, period.
Exactly. And unfortunately, I've experienced that where I come in and try to help somebody with the child, and the child gets to dictate what they're going to do and not going to do, which isn't even in their best interest. So it's like, obviously, first off, that wasn't working if I'm here trying to present a solution to you.
You ask yourself what you there for.
Exactly. So there are a lot of families and marriages ruined because a child isn't in a child's place. The child, like you said, is in a position of the husband or the wife, where they get to make executive decisions, and the spouse is ready to let their partner go. The child is not your partner. They're ready to let their partner go
for that child.
For the child. But what the child does is grows up
and gets gone.
And is gone and leaves you there with all the decisions.
Or start disrespecting you.
Yeah.
And then you want to call the person that was trying to put him in line, because now he acting up. And like my homie always tell, my homie got a favorite line. You created that monster.
Exactly. You created them. And they do that all the time. Create monsters, and then once they get out of line, so extreme, then they want the person who was trying to do the things to keep them in line from even thinking they could do those things to come and correct it. But at that point, usually the person doesn't even want to be involved anymore because it's too much work to get it back.
Because you show who you really are.
Right. And if you're going to put me under the bus.
Correct.
Again.
Correct.
Why would I do that?
Correct.
You know, it's like you think I'm a fool.
Correct.
So that's a really big issue. And I don't think that people really understand how they jeopardize what God has had for them to help them for the thing that they're supposed to get help with.
That's what you know. What you said, a mouthful right there. I got a family member of mine right now. And they know what I'm talking about. They watching.
Okay.
He in that same situation. He stepped in. You know, the female didn't have a pot to piss in. And took care of her kids, helped her get on her feet.
Yeah.
These stimulus done came around, got her a little job now. Now she decide I'm gonna come home 7, 8 in the morning now. Now you're not finna tell me what to do, because now I got my little stimulus, I got my little check.
Really? And this is a marriage or just a situation?
They've been together for about 5, 6 years.
Oh, okay. So our marriage almost.
Yeah. So and that individual side, they want to go on their own now.
Interesting.
So like I told my family member, don't worry about it, because
they'll be back.
And that's gonna be on them.
Yeah.
That's gonna be on them.
And the situation could change by the time they get back.
Again, I told that individual I don't want to hit if you decide to reel that person back in. Right. I don't want to hear nothing about it.
Right.
Period. I don't want to hear no more headaches about it.
Yeah.
No more discussions.
That's what you decided.
Because you decided that.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Okay.
Marriages. People always want to butt in on if somebody should stay with somebody or if somebody should leave somebody.
They kill me with that.
All right, what you got to say about it? You're married, man.
I'm gonna tell you honestly. I'm gonna tell you what pissed me off. Okay. Anybody know me know I'm flirtatious. My wife know I'm flirtatious. My wife know I take 1,000 pictures. So people see me on Facebook with all these women taking pictures. This is my entertainment business.
I was just saying, you're usually promoting.
So my thing is, people they think I don't know how that man wife. Because guess what? My 5% that you see wrong, I'm the same dude who worked 3, 4 jobs. I'm the same man who don't drink, don't smoke, don't do strip clubs, never put my hand on not nan woman. So what I'm saying is the 5% that you're judging, I got 95% that outweigh that. So each woman, each man can pick out his pros and cons with. That's his relationship. Like, people kill me if that was my man, that was my wife. I wouldn't put up with it. But guess what? That's not your man. That's not your wife.
Right. I always tell people it's not. So, and most of them don't even have a husband or a wife. Yeah. And you got a lot to chime in on somebody's marriage when marriage is continuously evolving and the people in the marriage are continuously evolving. It's a rolling stone that you got to keep working it.
Correct.
So don't have so much to say about something, first off, you don't have any experience in. Like, I would never sit down with a married person and tell them how to be married. I have not been married.
Correct. I mean, I got people on this platform all the time. They talk. I mean, different shows, different people just want to say what a husband's supposed to be, what a wife's supposed to be. That's your particular walk.
Right.
I can say my wife just got to cook some damn cheese. Some cheese sticks. And I'm good at it. To each his own. You can't speak for somebody what they want in their life.
Exactly. So, how do you get people to stay out of your marriage?
Don't put them in your business.
That was the issue I was going to say the first time around. A lot of time people have a lot to say. Judging it is because you share too much about it. And unfortunately, people share the negative that gets remembered. And although you may say some good stuff, nobody remembers the good.
I got a couple right now. I got a couple going through something right now, and I think they both genuinely love each other. Genuinely love each other. But I think the reason why they're dealing with what they're dealing with is because so much people know about what's going on with them that I think one of them are afraid to tell them, look, yeah, y'all know this about us,
but we together.
But we gonna be together, F y'all.
Yeah.
And I think that's the issue. Like, you got to be careful who you vent to, because people can take that venting and switch the stories and go to somebody else, go to somebody else, go to somebody else. Now the whole city know all your business, and now you scared to say, well, this is my wife.
Exactly. And I think that what you're saying is important, that you have to be willing to not care about what anybody has to say. They're not contributing nothing to your household, nothing to you personally, nothing to you financially, but they got this mouth to contribute. Man. You have to start not caring and dictate what you're going to do with your life,
and be the same.
As opposed to allowing them to dictate what you're going to do with your life because you are concerned with how they will respond. Who cares?
Them be the same with a home in love with themselves on Facebook, on IG, and you got. It's so sad when you got women out there who just want to tell somebody wife something, but don't even know what the circumstances with their wife. Like for instance, with me, me and my wife had a discussion, and we put rules out there. I don't care who you hug, just make sure your hands ain't located here. Make sure her hand ain't located there, and you do you. So when people do that, you don't know what me and my. So what I'm saying is, it usually be the women who man ain't half the man I am. I'm gonna say it again.
Well, say it again.
It's usually the women watching my situation when your man ain't half the man I am.
Right, because their man isn't forthcoming about even having that conversation. Hey, I work in the clubs and stuff. We hug a lot. That's just natural. Somebody comes up to the booth and you give them a hug.
But it's not even that. I'm actually no, I'm not saying.
No, go ahead.
I'm not saying the blacks don't do it. I'm Cuban and black. My black family and my Cuban family. That's what we do.
Yeah.
We don't do the handshake. I was not raised to shake no woman hand. Yeah. When I say this, I'm not raised to shake no woman hand. Period.
I get it. So the thing is that you all can even have the conversation about things that could eventually be an issue before they're an issue. That's the point.
She called me officer friendly because she know her husband is a flirt. You can't tell her that. She know it.
But I bet you're not flirting in front of her.
No, I don't. Nah, I speak.
But not flirting.
No, I don't flirt. But she know I'm.
Let's get clear because we don't want to make it seem like she's just taking anything.
Oh no, she ain't with all that.
Yeah.
No, she ain't with all that. But again, like it's certain ways people speak to me. You're not gonna say, "Hey, Disco." Like now, you're not gonna do that. Hey, Disco, you good? That's how we gonna talk. It ain't gonna be no.
So you set the standard as what you're getting.
Correct.
Because a lot of guys say, "I can't help what this person
I
does.
never had that issue.
I can't help that this person is gonna call my house at this time of night. I can't help that."
Well, that's what on that note, that's why I put my phone on vibrate because my number's everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know no woman's intention when they do call my phone. So to kill all that, when I'm home, all my time is for home. My phone's not gonna interrupt nothing I got going on at home. Because like again, my number's on every flyer on my website. I don't know what somebody calling for. So to kill that conversation, I don't know who she was, that kind of just.
Well, even if you do answer the phone, my phone rings all the time. I'm real public with stuff I do. I do a lot of service work and I'm real public. So my phone number is available. If I'm going to answer the phone, I'm going to answer the phone right there with you. I don't care who's on the other side of the phone. Even if they trying to flirt or whatever, I'm like, yeah, that's not appropriate. I'm with someone. Like, I can clear it up,
it's
whatever it is.
Something, though.
But it's not that I'm trying to hide it or promote it.
Correct.
So I think the issue comes when people try to hide it and sometimes encourage it by not correcting it. So I think that correction is key. Even if it comes across wrong, it snuck through some kind of way, you wouldn't have nothing to do with it. You wouldn't know, but I can correct it. But what do you think?
No, it's like I was saying, I got two phones. One of my phones is just family, blood family. That's it. One of my phones is just straight blood family. Call that number is 24/7. So, and the mother phone is just people that just know me, a person.
Right, but either phone your wife calls, you answer.
She can call both at the same time. I get answer. But when I'm home,
it's a way.
My family phone is on, so I won't miss my family calling.
Got you.
That's all I'm saying.
Makes perfect sense.
Yep.
Okay, so I posed a question on Facebook not too long ago, and the question was, why are there so many sexless marriages?
Sexless.
Not to say that you have any experience in this, but help somebody out. Why do you think that?
I think overdoing work can be that, because I ain't gonna lie, I had to catch myself. Like, I'm working all day. She working all day. I had to make sure. That's why you plan date nights. That's why you plan, don't call my phone. I'm watching a Netflix night. Like, you got to plan that 1 day or 2 days a week. Whatever your other part can consider you got to put down to keep her happy or him happy.
Right.
You got to plan your life around it because that's first. That's first. You got to take it home first. But if you both in agreement that, you know what, we both been working 3, 4, 5 months, we ain't thinking about that right now. Because you my husband, you my wife, that's going to be there. See, people value sex, so to everybody's different. People speak, man, if I were you couldn't go 4 weeks without. You don't know what's going on. We both focus on something.
But I think you just said the main thing still, even if that is something that you're drifting away from for whatever reason, there is still some communication about it, though. Because I think that not talking about an issue, and maybe I'm speaking from a woman's perspective, women assume sometimes that it will be a general understanding. If you're not doing it, you should understand that I do want it, and you're slacking. But they won't say that. So I found as I got older, even if you think it's something that's common sense, say it. The man might not even be thinking about it. It may be the furthest thing from his mind.
But make your move as a woman. You do stuff. That's what I understand.
That was the other direction I was going.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Initiating from a woman's
make your move. This is my thing. Once you start denying one another and somebody, that's the problem.
Well,
so once you put your hand on his stomach or his whatever, and he pushed, that's when it becomes an issue.
People don't get over rejection easily.
Yeah.
Nobody keeps doing something that's going to make them feel bad about themselves.
Correct.
Not if they're a healthy-minded person. They don't.
Yeah.
So, I was going there too.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. But let's go back to the initiating part, because I've heard from many men that they wish that a woman would initiate. They get tired of being the one to always be looking for it. And go ahead.
No, I'm gonna say something real crazy. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Women don't understand this. Like for men, I'm not gonna cuss on your show, but all men we got B in us.
Okay.
We got a soft side in us. I don't care how many tattoos, how you talk, how you swag, how many fights, how many times you cuss. We all, from the thuggest to we all got some softness in us. We want to come home one day, you run the bath water. We want to come one day, you just hop on us. We want to come one day, you just land in the bed butt naked. We want that stuff too. I don't care how manly you think that man is. We want that stuff too.
I get it. So ladies, if you're not a natural caterer, you're going to have to figure that piece out and do it, because your husband wants it. He says not some men, he said all men.
We all got
have it in there. Oh. Them some way, to some extent, where they need the woman to take initiative and make them the priority.
He can have teardrops on his eyes, kill 4-5 folks, whoever he is. We all got that in us, because guess what? Because we all got mamas. We all got mamas who care for us. We all got nurture, so we gon' naturally want that nurture feeling from your old lady. Yeah, exactly. So we all want it. I'm telling you, a dude that say he don't want it, he must be doing something different. But that
words of wisdom. Yeah, he's married 17 years.
And I ain't talking about it ain't got to be the all out pedals, but just the fact that the initiation.
Yeah,
we want to get woke up out our sleep sometimes because you want to get around in. Yeah, we want that stuff too.
Okay, so and let's go to the withholding from there. So, somebody had commented on the sexless marriage question that withholding was an issue, and I said, well, how many times does a person get to withhold before it's a major concern? So he was like, I'm not talking about, 1 or 2 times they tired or whatever. I get it. But he's like, if it's a consistent you using it as a weapon, or other people chimed in, if it's a consistent using sex as a weapon, and because you just want to prove your point, we ain't having sex, that's a problem. Yeah,
when to answer that question, when his or her needs not met. So basically, if you can withhold, I'm gonna respect you when I say this. When you can, if you withhold Monday and Tuesdays, but you can lay it down right on Wednesday to make up Monday and Tuesday, she might be cool with the 1 day a week or twice a week. If you can put it down enough to get her by for 4 or 5 days, then it may just. That's why I don't understand when people say I gotta have it 3, 4. You don't know what nobody's body wants. Your body, all due respect, you may want it. You may need 1 good 2 times, and you good for 2 weeks.
Right.
Versus every day for 60 seconds or 2 minutes. That you know what I'm saying? Like, get to me 1 time, give me a home run, and I'm good.
I mean, you never know the dynamics of someone's relationship and what they require. I don't even know what I require at this point. Like, I know what I used to do, but I'm so far from when I was
and I'm a little
younger,
different. I don't never drive home and say what mine is always, it's the moment. It's the moment with me.
Okay.
You know, and I don't get me wrong. At my mind, I'm like, you know, at a long day, I sure can release.
Yeah.
But you know, get the stress off me. But it's more of the moment. You know, watching the Netflix, drinking some wine, laughing, giggling, playing around, and we all of a sudden.
So let's talk about foreplay now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that some people don't know that's an art.
It's art. You gotta know your partner.
Right, because someone may be more sexually available, but the way they're presenting it is not interesting.
It's something that may not be introduced to it, yeah.
To the other partner. So sometimes you got to get them ready for it, is what I'm saying.
Correct.
So talk to the people about the importance of foreplay in a marriage. And the foreplay is not just in the sheets. It's those other things that he was talking about as well when you're catering to your person before it even is a thought of the sheets.
Yeah, foreplay can be something like we be in the kitchen sometimes and I just pop on her butt. Like, you know, and she know it's coming. She'll put her hand because she know I'm going to do that. Or I crack a joke and get against the wall, start kissing and take it. You know what I'm saying? Just it's the more the spontaneous, but all that is considering me showing you that I'm giving you all my attention. You know what I'm saying? It ain't got to be always just the candles and the rose petals and everything, just a traditional setup moment. You know what I'm saying? It's just, but again, sometimes it can be let me get this before you go to work or go to DJ or whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? It's different phases on how women want it.
Yeah.
So you got to know your partner. Like if she ain't want to be swinging off nothing and liking this, don't try that. Like know your partner.
And I think you said too that she knows that you make her a priority. She has all of your attention. So, and I can speak from experience. If I don't feel like I'm a priority, I'm not interested in nothing at all.
I'm gonna tell you wisdom I got years ago.
Okay.
I coach football. I'm gonna put this in football aspect. A coach from Texas, a head coach for Texas University, told the coaches, I've been coaching 25, 30 years.
Okay.
And I've been with my wife 30 years. And he said, you know why I've been with my wife 30 years? Because I give her day. I give her day or days just for her. I cut everything off and give her a mile. And once a woman know you're going to give her her day, her time, you good. You got to give your partner their time. Once you put everything before her or before him, that's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah. I had someone to tell me that, like, they have to go and catch up with the old neighborhood. They have to go and do anything but cater to their house, basically. And I'm like, you can do all of those things. And if you feel it's a priority, that's great. But I don't have to come second to anything. So do whatever you feel. And that's going to point me in the direction in which I respond. So it's important that you think about the relationship as a whole as you're making your daily decisions.
Correct.
And communication is definitely key. He's not going to stop coaching football. He's just going to make sure football knows that it don't come before his wife.
It's funny because when I first started, she gonna kill me. But it's so funny. When I first started coaching football, I was on the phone all the time. She's made a comment. She say, you know what? When you want something, put a hole in the football.
Yeah, exactly.
And I had to understand, like, look, I coach all day. I come on the phone all day to coaches. I got somebody, mama calling me.
She was basically saying you're married to football.
Correct. So I had to say, you know what? When I'm off football, don't call my phone. Monday, Tuesday, and Thursdays, Saturdays. Yeah. That's it. Don't call me Wednesday. Don't call me Friday. Don't call me Sunday. Yeah. Period.
And I think that's something to touch on. People are married to other things than their marriage.
Correct. But like I said, communication. Cause even me, I said it before about work. Like, look, baby, we're going out of town. Leave that here. Leave that here. Give me. Let's have us time. You know what I'm saying? So you got to communicate. Like when I got a schedule in my bag. So whenever people call me about what I got planned next week, babe, what we doing next month? Before I book myself to DJ this weekend, what we got planned?
So you're not letting the money lead you because a lot of people do that. They understand I got to make this money.
But what she'll do is, depending on our circumstances that month, or she'll say, babe, I ain't gonna start from your money. Yeah. While you doing yours, I'm doing mine. Like we got that. That's why when people say that, man, you don't know. Trust me, I got this.
Okay, sounds like she's busy as well.
Oh, very busy.
So how important is it to be with someone who is equally as busy as you are?
We know each other. She a grinder, I'm a grinder. So it's not nothing new to me. I know, like right now I call her FaceTime, I know she working. She called me FaceTime, she know I'm working.
And it's Sunday.
And we know each other. But we also got a plan. Like I know at 5, we got to go meet each other and do this. So we know we got till now till 5 o'clock
to get your work
to get our work in. We got something to do it. You know what I'm saying? We communicate like that.
So, what is your advice to someone who is marrying or thinking about marriage or already married to someone who doesn't share a busy schedule and they're busy?
It ain't gonna work. Because he or she got too much time on their hands
to worry about what you're doing.
And they're going to worry about you doing.
And they're going to think you're doing something negative because the mind just works like that.
My uncle told me, he said, a man that love can work. A man in love can't.
Wait, break it down again?
Yeah. A man that loves can work.
Okay.
A man in love can't work. And when I'm not saying you can't fall in love, what it is like, you love that person so much that you scared to leave the house.
Oh,
you scared to work overtime. You scared to not... Right. So
So they're dictating you not evolving as a person,
correct,
basically.
Correct.
Okay, which will eventually lead to some resentment for most people if you can't develop into your God-given self, your purpose in life and things of that nature. So it's important to find yourself and keep yourself in marriage. A lot of people say they get married and lose their identity.
You do because you grow. You do and you grow, but it's sad because we talking about money again. I know so many people that work and all they care about is money.
And that's why I said you don't let the money lead you.
Money. That's all they care about. And to each his own, but I gotta find that. Like what I did this year was.
Now, I think both of us are in agreement when we say we like money.
We like money.
Money is not the enemy here at all.
No.
Okay, well, go ahead. I want to make sure they know we like money.
But I'm saying, I'm finna make a point. Like what I'm saying is like, I love to work. I love to make money. Right now, I'm dealing with some personal stuff. I can't make as much as I want to, but I'm still doing what I got to do. But I made a decision this year that I'm going to coach my son this year. I never coach none of my sons because I know I'm going to be on the football field, right? So I say, you know what? Let me go ahead and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Let me coach my son.
Yeah.
That way I'm spending time with my son.
Right.
And I still can work like I want to work, but I know I'm going to football practice. So versus coaching somebody else's kids that I've been doing for 17, 18 years, let me coach my own.
Right.
So now that's what I'm doing this year.
Nice. And it just adds a little bit more balance to what you're doing.
Correct.
Because you still get to do what you love, but you also get to be responsible in the area of putting your family first.
And fellas, let me tell you something, man. The cardinal rules is, man, just give your wife or your other half, man, give them the first up. Like, babe, what we doing Friday? If you know she gonna say something, still, if your fellas want to go out, still say, look, bro, I think we still gonna go out, but let me put it out there first to her. Knowing you know she probably gonna say, nah, I don't want to go. But give her that first opportunity first, because I guarantee you, if you plan something on a Friday or Saturday with your fellas first, and she has some plan, that's a whole 3-4 months you got to hear
that. You're probably right. It's about being a priority still. So if they're thinking you're choosing people or things over them, it's probably going to be an issue, which is what you're saying. So final words of wisdom are what?
Final words of wisdom is, man, know your partner. Pick your battles. That's what I learned growing. I learned to pick my battles, man. If it's gonna lead to something else, just leave it alone.
Okay. So you create boundaries so that you don't get out of sync with what you want your marriage to look like.
Correct.
Okay. Sounds like words of wisdom to me to live by. Simple enough.
Yep.
What do you have going on? How can we follow you?
Well, DISCO100 Radio, YouTube. I'm actually DJing at Play Bistro and Lounge now. I'm actually doing some at Tuesday through Sundays starting in June.
And where is that located?
That's on 1812 Powder Springs Road. And it's a grown folks atmosphere. We start on Tuesdays karaoke, Wednesday network mixer. We're gonna have lawyers, doctors, attorneys, accountants, hairdressers, business owners, just more of a grown folks atmosphere, jazz, crackers, cheese, you know, that type of atmosphere on Wednesdays. It's a networking mixer every Wednesday. Thursday, we're doing game night. We bringing back Uno, Connect Four, big games, Atlanta Game is doing it. A friend of mine named Lisa, she does that. It's fun. Fridays is just typical normal days. Saturdays ladies nights, and Sunday my boy Tootie DJ gonna be DJing grown old school Sundays.
Okay.
So
let's play Bistro.
Play Bistro, 1812 Powder Springs Road. My contact 678-532-3805, and it's owned by Todd and Miss Ada Zay.
What's up, Todd and Miss Ada Zay?
Out of Marietta, and it's a nice spot.
All right, how can we follow you online?
DJ DISCO100 on IG, and Ryan Govea on Facebook.
All right. You can follow me at Catherine Yancey on Facebook, Ms. Mimsy K.D.Y on Instagram, and I will see you here next week on DISCO100 Radio for K.D.Y Live. Make sure you send that link, K.D.Y Live, and see you next time. Peace.